Final project part 3. It has to do with Google Slides. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to use Google Slides to make a 5-slide presentation that is controlled by buttons. It doesn't have to be real fancy, but that's what we're doing. Want to see you do it. This will be done with a new blank slides presentation. Rename the file up at the top left when you create your presentation and create 5 slides to get you started. Once you've done that, you'll have to set a background for every slide. They can all be different or they can all be the same. That is up to you. They just can't be plain white. I want some kind of background on there. Put some text on every slide to label the slide, even if it just says slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. That's okay, but there's got to be some text on it. Put 4 buttons on slide 1, 4 of them on slide 1, 4 of them on slide 1. Did you hear what I said? 4 of them on slide 1. Buttons can be made out of shapes, text, or image. You'll have to think back a little bit to when we did lessons about that. You can create shapes, you can use text, you can use images. They'll have to be linked. More about that coming in a minute. All buttons must be labeled in such a way that their destination is clear. Where's the button going? I don't want to have a button sitting there that I don't know where I'm going when I click this. So it ought to say something like slide 2 or slide 3 or whatever, wherever it's going. You put one button on slide 2, 3, 4, and 5 that is designed to return the viewer back to slide 1. I'm going to show you mine in just a minute, so that might help all of this make sense. In just a second, I'll show it to you. All the buttons have to be linked to their proper destination. They got to go to the right place. Animations are optional. All those things so far, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of those are required on this assignment. Animations, you could add some animations if you wanted to, but they are optional. You don't have to. If you want to throw on some images, you could, but they are optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Not required. But all these other things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are required. Submit your presentation on Google Classroom when it's all done. Let's go look at one. That's not it. This is it. So here we are. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. And you see slide number 1 right here. It says slide 1 on it. That's text. That has to happen on yours. You have to have some text that will label the slide. And on slide number 1, you see 4 different buttons. And they are labeled as well, so I know where they're going. This is going to slide 2, this is going to slide 3, this is going to slide 4, and this is going to slide 5. And there's no mystery about that. There's no mistake about it because it says so right there. Now on the other slides, for example on slide 2, there is some text that says slide 2, so we know what slide we're on. And there's a button that says home that gets me back to slide number 1. Same thing is true for slide 3. Slide 4, and slide 5. This would work. What you've seen here so far would work. Now, if I present this, if I hit present, I should have started it on slide 1. If I hit present, here we go. We're on slide number 1, and it's controlled by buttons, right? It's not going to go on by itself. I'm not going to hit the play button down here on this little menu. I'm just going to click the buttons when I'm ready to move. And I should be able to, on slide 1, I should be able to click any button anytime I want to, right? If I want to go to slide 5 first, I could click it. And that took me to slide 5. This button should take me back to where I just came from, back to slide 1. Takes me back home. Let's go to 3. Oh, look, it did. That says slide 3 and home. Let's go to 4. And it did, and home. Let's go to 2, and it did, and home. So the control is by clicking buttons. Now don't be fooled. Google Slides, one bad thing about Google Slides, if you click in an empty spot, it automatically goes on to the next slide. And I don't like that about Google Slides, and I haven't found a way to turn that off on Google Slides. And I don't like that feature of Google Slides. But you need to make sure that your buttons are linked. Now I'm going to show you real quick how you do that. Right? When you are building this, this is just text up here. This is just a text box, which, by the way, is created right there. Text box. My buttons were made out of shapes, which, by the way, is right there. I just picked a shape. And if you use a shape, then all you have to do is draw the shape and then just start typing, and the text will appear on the shape. Now you can, when you put text on a shape, you can use all of the text options like font and like centering and like text color, and all of the things that you can normally do with text, you can still do it even though the text is inside that shape. Now, linking. A couple ways you can do it. There is on the toolbar here, and you can tell that mine are linked because when I click them, this says slide 4 right here. You know it's linked. You can tell. As soon as I click it, it tells you what slide it's linked to. But how about if I break that link? Ooh, I broke the link. All right, so I click on here. There are a couple of ways you could do it. On the toolbar, there is a chain icon. Insert link like that. You also are seeing right now, if you're looking, you're seeing a keyboard shortcut, Control K. And I believe it's also over here on the insert menu, and you can go insert link as well. So there's a lot of ways you can do it. So for example, if I wanted to rebuild that link, I just broke my link to slide number 3. So I could either do insert link, Control K, or there's a little button on the toolbar. I'll just do insert link right here. I'm going to go to slides in this presentation. And I'll just scroll that a little bit so we can see it. I want this to go to slide number 3. Boom. And then I have to hit apply. Boom. And that does it. It's as simple as that. Right here, I'll do another one just for fun. You select the shape. This time I'll just use this little button on the toolbar. Slide in this presentation. This is going to slide number 2. I'm going to apply that. That button is now connected. The button won't work unless I am presenting. The buttons only work when you're presenting the show. 3 and home. 5 and home. 4 and home. 2 and home. Folks, that's it. That's what you have to do in part 3 of your Business IT final project. You have to create a 5-slide Google Slides presentation. All of the backgrounds, the backgrounds cannot be plain white. You have to have text on every slide to label the slides so that I know which one I'm looking at. Slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, slide 5. Slide 1 has to have 4 buttons on it. Each one of those buttons has to be labeled and linked. Slide 2, 3, 4, and 5 all should have a button on it that will take me back to slide number 1. There it is. It's your turn.